luxury was never about price tags. It was never about material objects.
Luxury to me is always changing.
A house probably in Maharashtra has to be different than a house in Delhi.
Minimalism is to go. Capture the soul of Indianness. The future is India now, and we have to be very proud of this fact.
Yeah.
So let's get into the theme of today's panel, an exploration of Indianness in modern luxury. In today's quick-paced world, where design trends shift every passing year, a modern luxury is making its way in the Indian style of interior designing. India's rich cultural tapestry has become a wellspring of inspiration, influencing designs and brands worldwide. The integration of Indian aesthetics, craftsmanship, and ethos in modern luxury is crafting new dimensions of design. The exploration of this diverse style of interior design is an accelerating journey. As we embark on this voyage, it becomes crucial to understand the changing definition of luxury with the contribution of Indianness to it and understand where the future goes. On this note, I hand over the mic to Mehul Shah.
Hello. Good afternoon. I welcome you all to the panel discussion, an exploration of Indianness in modern luxury. With the time people wanting to move towards the modern trends, what is the perspective of modern luxury interiors? I'm going to open this panel discussion to all of them, and we will have anybody answer instead of me pointing out to any one particular person. And between I would also like the audience, if you have also want to add on anything, please be free to raise your hands and we can come up to you as well. So when we talk about luxury, the words that come to our minds are comfort, elegance, opulence. So what are some major aspects while designing that makes any space transform to luxury interiors? Is it the aesthetics or the brands of products? Or how smart the space is? Please elaborate.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Mehul, for starting this conversation with an interesting question. And I'm going to straight away jump to actually an example of what I think, or what, according to me, luxury was. I recently moved into my own place, and my husband and me were constantly debating for, I think, almost 4 to 5 months, asking each other, what is it that we want here? What is our budget? You know, these are the basic questions everyone ever starts with, right? You know, in our entire conversation, we never ended up saying that I want this chair from this brand, and you know, I saw that sofa somewhere and it was amazing and I want that. But every time we decided to say something, or consciously decided to say something, or even you know, happen to think about what we want this home to be for us, it was always about the moments. And we always ended up saying that I want a beautiful corner where I can sit and read, and there's some nice sunlight coming in. Maybe in the evening I can turn on a lamp, and I can spread my feet there and have a cup of coffee, which I can put on a table next to me. I would love to smell the coffee that you freshly brew from the kitchen. I'd love to, you know, while I am working in my home desk, probably be able to see what is going on in all parts of the house. I'd love it if I put my feet down in my house and I'm walking, I'd feel the beautiful texture of the wood grains on the flooring, and the kind of wool of the rug, or just it was all about these micro moments. And we ended up understanding at some point these were the luxuries we wanted. This for us was what we wanted our home to be, and for us this is what luxury was. It could be any chair. It could be any chair that's put there. But it, maybe the fabric that we select on it, had to be comfortable, so that when we kind of sink ourselves in and we kind of touch it with our hands, it feels beautiful. What feels beautiful to my hand may not feel beautiful to your hand. So then it's a personal luxury for me. And thus, luxury for me and for us became all about micro moments in our life. And I just want to kind of start, the first question or the first discussion with luxury was never about price tags. It was never about material objects. It was always about tangible, sensorial objects for us.
So I'll just add one thing to the same. When you talk about luxury, the way she said she made up her house, and just a year back, even I went to the same process, and so our firm is very much renowned in terms of European style, so more of finer detailing and more classical. So when I was getting my place done, I was with two thoughts. This is what really I want, or is it something else? And I think Nishita correctly said, so it's about the memories you make with that space. So yeah, luxury cannot be defined in terms of tax. That's my goal.
Hello everyone. I'm glad that hot sunny afternoon, all of y'all are here to listen to us. So thank you all of you. And coming back to your question, I certainly agree with these two ladies that luxury doesn't really have a definition. Luxury is going to differ from person to person. Luxury will be defined by your upbringing, by money, by your aspirations, the context. So there are many things that would define luxury for a certain person. I mean, for a working man, probably even having your own house is a luxury. So, I mean, that is how we would define luxury. And certainly, to an extent, yes, maybe a product or aesthetics or just sheer comfort can define luxury. Again, it is, this that it is going to differ from person to person.
I agree with her and I agree with these two ladies. And you will be hearing more of this agreement throughout the panel discussion.
3 females on panel.
Thank you very much. I think it is very well said, and all three of them had put up their thoughts and their personal experiences, how and what they went through while building their own homes, or what they feel about luxury. Let's move on to further. Luxury design in itself defines a higher status of living. Not everyone can afford luxurious way of living and luxurious interiors. So how does luxury interiors affect the lifestyle of a person? Does luxurious interiors and luxury style of living have a particular edge of a lifestyle?
Can I take this?
Yes, please.
So I feel before we talk about how luxury affects lifestyle, we have to understand what is luxury for a particular person or that entity. Luxury to me is always changing. See, for instance, if I am a lower middle class person, for me luxury is to get 2 meals a day. If I am, say, aspiring personality from a middle class to an upper middle class, for me luxury is always buying new cars, a bigger home, all those things that we perceive as luxury to be. So luxury always keeps on changing. So is it always about lifestyle? I think more than lifestyle, it is about aspirations. And these aspirations are very personal. So luxury to me probably is spending the entire day with my daughter, but luxury for somebody else may be going in the Lamborghini. So luxury cannot define lifestyle solely. I have this way of looking at it is your lifestyle gets defined by who you are, and luxury is just one element of it. Coming to the question from the other way, Uh, Another thought process says that can we as architects and designers define the lifestyle of the users? And then can luxury be a part of it? Of course, yes. So for our role in defining a lifestyle is huge. We probably end up changing lifestyles of people from when they move from one house to the other or from one place to the other. And in this, if luxury quotient is to be bought in, it can be bought in. One is through the brands, as Nishita said, is this is what typically luxury is known to us. So you open any publication and it will talk about brands. But if you actually look at the super rich people, for them luxury is going closer to nature. For them luxury is moving away from the typical sense of luxury which is defined by materialistic things, and it is finding a deeper meaning to your existence, deeper meaning to your entire way you would lead your life. So there, our role as designers is so important in defining what should be luxury for that particular personality. So understanding the user becomes even more important.
Yeah, and to add to this, so very recently we had a client who came to us who wanted to design his residence, and the first thing he mentioned was, "Madam, हमको तो सब Italian marble चाहिए." So that is what he aspires. He has been staying probably in a house where he had mosaic floor or kota or some natural material or some stone, and now because he has a higher budget, that is what he wants to show his family, his friends. Now he wants to have a better lifestyle in terms of just these small elements that he wants to have in his house. He aspires for marble. So it certainly is that what you have not had before, probably your wants define luxury. More than the need, more than the context, what your home would actually need, it is what a person wants in his life. So luxury would, be that to somebody else.
Thank you, Tushar and Chiranjivi. I think very well said. And most of us would agree on what they have said. Seeing the influence of Western culture, what is, according to you, the difference of Indian interpretation of luxury compared to the international accepted luxury?
This is an interesting question because for the longest time, India was trying to ape the West. Every single thing that we wanted to do was try to mimic the Italians and the Europeans and the Americans and the Chinese of the world, and without and completely negating what your country had. Right now, we are at this kind of juncture where everybody is looking to India. Everybody thinks what India has is what is luxury right now, where we have the best of the karigars, we have the best of the manufacturers. It's affordable to everybody for a large scale manufacturer to manufacture here in India and resell it somewhere else. We have the means, we have the tools, we have all of it. So I think the entire idea of, luxury of the West has now fully changed, and we are at this amazing point in our careers and in the design kind of world where everybody is looking to us. It's just the question only bothers me is that do we value what we have? Because a lot of times we have clients, and we all have clients who at least once in your life you'll face somebody saying, let's go to Italy and shop, let's go to China and shop, and then they'll very happily buy like a 10-20 lakh sofa and come back. But then when you show them an equally good product from an Indian designer, they refuse to buy it. They just refuse to spend that kind of money because they're in denial that India also has the ability to manufacture and to produce similar goods. And what is surprising is that they know that most of these big guys are actually making things in India and reselling it internationally. So I think it's our problem. We are not accepting what we have, the abundance that we have, and as designers, we almost have this. it's this responsibility. I think we have to inculcate that in our client and to start educating our client, not just client, but create that awareness from day one, even at student level. You know that it's, of course, I won't deny that sometimes the products you see abroad are amazing, but we're equally good here, you know. So I think it's about time we start looking inwards.
Thank you, Nishita. Also, I would like to add your one of the things that, I mean, she very rightly said that we need to create an awareness in terms of identifying and products that which are Indian made. At the same time, we also, or all of us are aware as designers that a lot of design products, in fact, our country has been exporting, which fortunately, unfortunately, we don't get our hands on to. So humble request to all the designers or even the vendors to kind of, somehow try and market it well, or, with the platform of social medias and everything that now we have, we should try and, get it out right on more of these kind of platforms for even the clients to kind of accept it that, yes, Indian goods can be luxury. Anyone want to add on to this further?
Just one say, like Nishita said, we had everything in abundance. So yeah, we had everything in abundance, the prints, the colors, the patterns, the artisans. But the only missing factor that I saw like few years back was the technical glitches, the errors, the ergonomics. So people used to have amazing productions, but the comfort was not comparative to the quality that we were getting from China, from Italy. But now I can see amazing product designers are from India. So recently I'd been to ID, and the kind of product showcase, the work showcase, I think it wasn't anything less than what we go and see in Milan. So maybe that is a major difference. I could see brands like Sabyasachi presents beautiful, beautiful Indian traditional prints, which was unrecognized a few years back. But now you can see everything in full bloom, and everyone wants to have one of its kind. So yeah, it has to be one.
I think as designers, we also need to start trend setting with a lot of Indianness in our own designs, which probably would help to kind of bring India on the map. Having strong cultural and traditional identities in India, how do you believe one can create a cultural impact in luxury interior design to create a connection with Indianness?
So I have an answer for this. Generally, whenever I go for any such talks, we are very formally dressed. Blazers, your shoes, your heels, everything. So I was just going through what ELEV8 is all about. So I was just going through stories yesterday. One thing I came to know, it's very sunny. It's open amphitheater. So I said that really doesn't work here. I was very much wanted to wear this beautiful piece. It's bright with beautiful traditional motifs, but I wasn't ready to wear any heels. That's very modern. So I cut down, and I was being very practical here. Okay, let's come down to sneakers. So I think this combinations, I'm talking fashion, may it be design. So the practicalness is extremely important. So, yep.
I think bringing the Indian culture into our design is very, very important, because to an extent we are losing the context. So a house probably in Maharashtra has to be different than a house in Delhi, has to be different than a house that you would have in Kerala. But because of the Western impact and the way we are influenced by the West, all our houses, all our cities have started looking very similar. So, and of course, India being so very rich in its culture and in its tradition, I think it's time for us to get back to our roots and follow the Indianness in our designs and in our architectural and interior language.
I completely agree with what Chiranjivi said, is because, see, for us, for all these years, we have been taught to look in a particular way. So we have been told that minimalism is to go. This is how you should design. This is how your furniture should look like. This is how your spaces should be. I think now, as Nishita said, this is the right time where India is on the world map and shining bright and strong. We have to look back at our roots. We have to ask ourselves some very basic questions whether whatever has been done in the past, traditionally and culturally in our country, was it right? And if it was right, then why don't we use it in the modern context? See, I'm not saying that we behave like Nawabs and Maharajas and follow the more maximalist way. Because India has always been about maximalism. See, you go to any of the Havelis or Vadas and you'll see that it was, it was a step more than what it should be. But capturing the essence of what we had is so important in today's context. See, we all have grown into a generation where probably we can understand the essence of our climate, essence of our culture, essence of our artists that we have, and the essence of the simplicity in living that has always been a part of our culture. So imbibing those factors into current modern trends of design, I think that is the golden mean that we should be focusing upon.
No, I agree with that one. I think for the longest time, we were so oblivious or trying to shy away from this is because we were scared of reinvention. I mean, we're so scared to reinvent the traditional or what we've seen for so many years, which I think the West was much faster at doing. I think they were much faster at kind of completely churning things out, new things all the time. And I think India was a little more slower at that. So which is why I think that's why we felt so behind the tracks, that it is now taking us a much longer time to reach where they have reached.
And more probably since our history was so prominent on our overall lifestyle and living that it made us go a step back. For the Westerners in most countries, take it the US also, they are young. So as a civilization, they are very young. So the influences have been recent. For us, the influences have been centuries old. So it takes some time for us to shed that skin and move. But I think what is also important is that we capture the soul of Indianness and not copy. I feel very bad when aesthetics are copied or when you just want to play with a motif for the sake of it and then call the house a very Indian house. I think we need to capture the essence of our spaces. The essence of, say, a courtyard or essence of the jharokas or how a light would filter into our buildings. I think this is what we should look at rather than the superficial cosmetic applications that we are doing. That I have a very serious problem with that.
All right, very well said, Tushar. Moving forward, holding the years of experience and expertise, what are some of the materials that are always right and are timeless when it comes to luxury interior design? I think that's an easy one. I think all of you would want to answer that.
We'll all agree that there is never one material that is like the right one, because today for one project I may love marble, the next one I'll hate marble, one day I'll love brick and the next day I'll hate brick. So I think for me there's never been one consistent material, but I feel if I had to give an answer, if I just had to say something, I feel Indian natural stones are here to stay for a very, very long time because they're so versatile, they're so beautiful. They'll probably give any of the Italian counterparts a run for its money. So for me, it's that.
I think it is the only time when the Westerners use Indian stones, just like yoga. Just like yoga. Then we'll realize the importance.
Then we will celebrate International Yoga Day. So, in fact, we are here in Ahmedabad since last 2-3 days, and we visited Sabarmati Ashram. It was amazing. I mean, I just cannot put it in words, the feeling that I had after being to that space. The space, the structure actually talks to you. It was super hot in the afternoon. The temperature outside was extremely, it was literally burning us. And the minute we entered the ashram, it actually got my mind, my body, my soul, everything went into a different calmness. So no doubt about it that, the Indian material palette is here and it has to be explored more and more, because that is going to suit the best to our kind of climate. So I feel, in fact, that's the right thing to do. And even now, when we see Jeffrey Baba's project, so I think the elements, instead of talking about materials, the light and the greenery, the sunlight, these are the elements that we have to play with when it comes to our interior spaces and architecture spaces. And that is going to bring a different kind of luxury to our homes than just a particular element or just a table or a chair.
Every new project is a new canvas of painting a story. How do you incorporate your design palette with the needs of the end user, that is the client?
So I'll take this. I'm very clear with one thing. So I specialize more into residential designing. And you have to understand, you're not designing any hotel. You're not designing any showroom. Like, you have to have a set of design, the way you have imagined has to go. So when a client comes to you, he has a mindset. So it's a family, it's their culture, it's the way they live their life. So taking all these considerations, all these concepts all in one and putting it together, I think can work very well. Also, when you say materials, I'm coming back to the same question. So a lot of time, Pinterest is playing a lot big role these days. Ma'am, can we get something like this? Ma'am, can we get something like this? And they really don't understand this is not the right fit. So being a designer, you have to flow them in the right manner, asking them multiple questions, asking them fill up a right questionnaire to know what exactly they are wanting. So as a designer, we play a major role getting things lined up in an appropriate manner, what your client is actually desiring for.
I think one of the reasons I became a designer is that I love people watching. I just love to observe the quirks of people. And that is what makes every project very interesting. Because hello, yeah. We try to observe, even if they're talking to us, suddenly I'll blank out and I'm just observing them, the way they're moving, the way they're talking, if they're nudging with their left hand, their right hand, and, do they fidget a lot, like, just how they're eating. Before even signing up, we go out for a coffee or something like that, like to know them, like what exactly this person is, because I think the quirkier the client, the better the brief, the more fun it is going to be, and the more I think you can design so much better then, So we love to see the couples fight. We love it. We always see the couples and the family fighting because I think that tells us so much more about how they are as people. I mean, are they like an inclusive family? Like, do they involve their kids in everything? Do they involve their parents in everything? All those things are so much fun to watch because that really helps you design a much better space for them. So, yeah, I mean, of course, we do the general sending a questionnaire like what do you want? How many rooms? This, that, and then is about just observing them, So that's super fun, I think.
I'm going to follow Guru Nishita henceforth. You just made it sound so simple.
I think you should go like a dinner or a coffee next time with them. Yeah.
I think one day I'll join with you and take notes. But yeah, coming to the material palette, your question was how a material palette that suits us is bought into every design that we take up. If that was to be done, all our projects would look the same. Because we as individuals, so in our case, Chiranjivi and I, we have liking for a particular material palette or a particular way of how a space should be. But involve what the client aspires for, or if we don't involve how the client tweaks up this thought process, and then the entire new definition is given to your project. That is where the difference is. So doing everything that we make it very monotonous, all our projects are going to look like the same, but a client adding their own angle to it gives it a completely new dimension. And that is where the fun is, that you know that these are the basics that you want to play with, and then the client comes in with something, and then, like Isha said, it's very quirky, and it just tweaks up the entire program, and you start looking at it in a different way. With those same ethos.
I want to give you an example for that also, okay?
Yeah.
Normal like we were designing a wardrobe and like, the pant hanger and all of that. And normal standard pant hanger, we gave like, the 2.5 feet fold that, normally everybody does. And one of the architects who works with us noticed that this client wears his pants really high. Okay? That means the length of the pant is actually much longer. Inches longer than the average pant length. So we had to change the height of the wardrobe. So this is what I mean by like really stupid small quirks of people which you won't notice, like you won't like kind of know what to notice about it, but you'll unknowingly kind of figure out all these things about them.
The fun part.
Yeah. Which stays within the office, like for planning.
And now within this amphitheater.
Now.
Yeah. It is out on Architect's Diary.
All right, moving on to the next segment, which is styling. Nowadays, styling of a space holds an important place to elevate the aesthetics of homes, restaurants, offices, etc. How important is decor in shaping the ambience of the space, and how it varies in relation to diverse communities?
I think we all would love to answer this.
We can start.
So, being a designer, I actually didn't know what styling was. So thanks to COVID, I actually went back, took few courses, and Pune did not have much of stylist on board. So always whenever I saw a few amazing magazines, some great work, I used to think, what is really missing out from our projects? We are doing good designs. The detailings are amazing. So what is that X factor that has not been presented? And that is the moment where I realized styling really plays an important role. You've made an amazing dish, but if it is not served, not plated well, I think it loses its 50% of its attention. So same goes with interiors. Also, I think the question adds up, is it only for the photo shoot? Yeah, nowadays, being digital platform very prominent, we have to have amazing photo shoots, so styling becomes compulsive act for us. But also our clients who have been residing, if they get their home styled up well, they make it a point to maintain it in one proper manner which have been presented. So a lot of my clients say, we don't know why we use bedspreads. Why? Why sham pillows? So, but when it is technically explained, okay, this will help your bed stay more clean. So nights, it's always better you just move it off and your bed is clean. So they've started accepting the fact, and your room actually looks more beautiful. Earlier, you could see the folded blankets on your bed, 2 pillows, and it was done. So you won't get that feel. But adding multiple layers, adding multiple pillows, your shams, your throws, so that really adds up a complete vibe to your space. This is from the perspective of residential angle that I'm talking. Even in commercial places, you don't want to see plants, a very major styling element, I would say. Major projects, major spaces are filled with plantation nowadays. Major cafes and restaurants, we can see it's full of plantation and they go full. We need those additional touches that completes your space. So that's a major add up thing that I would say styling is completely required for all our projects.
So with decor, it's such a shaky ground all the time. There are only 2 reasons why a client doesn't do decor. One is budget khatam ho gaya, and the second one is maintain कौन करेगा. मैं तो नहीं करने वाली हूँ, रहना आपको है, तो maintain तो आप ही करोगे. तो budget वाले part पे आते हैं. This is where we use a reverse psychology on them and we say, Pinterest image आपने दिखाया ना, इसमें से रग निकालो, पॉट निकालो, प्लांट निकालो, ये आर्ट वर्क निकालो, क्या बचता है? वॉल बचता है, फ्लोर बचता है, सीलिंग बचता है, वो मैं आपको देती हूँ. आपको अच्छा लगेगा, नहीं लगेगा ना? तो करो. तो अभी डेकोर करो आप. This is like, I mean, it's about explaining them also, and then also budgeting for that, because obviously it's not like every client has like this continuous flow of money. So like, we in general, we kind of plan our projects in like 4 steps. One is infra, one is architecture, if you're doing architecture projects, one is interiors, where you do the fixed interior architecture work, and then the 4th is the decor, where I sit and remove this gyan of mine that now you'll have to also give me something for budget for this decor work. But it works. I think 9 out of 10 times it works. Yeah. Yeah.
It surely works.
For us, decor is like probably just the 10% of the project part. Both of us believe that the soul of the project has to be very pure. If I have to just compare it simple with a human body, if your soul is beautiful, your body is beautiful, then yes, the makeup, your apparels, your clothing, hair, shoes, all of that is certainly going to add up. But if your soul is not pure, if you yourself are not a good human being, as it is, you are not going to stand out or shine out there. So if I have to look back to our master's projects like a FLW house or a Korea house or a BB Doshi project, I absolutely don't remember the kind of setting that they had for any kind of project. I don't remember how the cushion was placed. I don't remember any other thing, but I just remember the vibes of the space that it gave. And yes, these days, because, I would say because of the social media, that styling really has, has just taken everything.
It's only for our designers' greed of getting the perfect picture, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I really don't care, they don't put the pots
Still, back of the mind, if you see the project has to be beautiful, you are not going to later remember what was set on the dining table. You are not going to remember how the cushion was placed, but what you are going to remember is what kind of vibes that house gave. So for us, setting is something that has to be permanent. Setting is something that a client should be able to maintain later. वो एक photo shoot के लिए your house is looking glamorous and later you come and say that this is the house and people are not able to recognize, oh ये था. So it should not come up like that, It has to be both ways for client and for us. So it comes up mutually that how you set up the space.
Agree again with Chiranjivi.
Today,
That's the mantra they are following.
yeah.
So,
Only for today.
but then I differ with the other 2 ladies on this note. So I'll tell you how we look at this thing in our studio. One is the space has to grow with you. So we believe in making a canvas where the client can add on their own colors as they travel, as they grow, as they live in that house. So styling, if I go and style a home on day 1, what is going to be that the client is going to add? See, clients get so overwhelmed by whatever we do at the end, and especially after the Vastu Shantis where everybody just comes and say wow, wow, wow. Then they feel, okay, this is the perfect thing in my house and I don't even want to shift anything. We've had a client years ago. So whenever we used to go and visit them after say 3 years or 4 years, nothing was changed. Not even the thing that we had kept on the central console. So they were so passionate about it, they said, and they proudly used to tell us, hey, look the way we've maintained as you've left. But that was wrong, because you've not grown at all. You are still stuck in that era where somebody else has done something for you and your house is not changing. So we are coming from this thought process that your house has to grow. You travel, you see different places, you meet different people, you get a few things which are your memories. And a house is all about memories. So styling is cosmetic, I would say. See, I'll give you a small example. A couple of days ago, we visited Tarang, which we saw today. Snail and Bhadri are here. Anybody from here who have seen the presentation today, tell me how that space can be styled. Is there a necessity for that space to be styled at all? Whatever is there is the beauty of that structure, it is beauty of that space. And putting anything more is going to ruin it. Of course, you get in a stylist and the stylist will say, यहाँ पे frame लगाओ, वहाँ पे पेड़ लगाओ, वहाँ पे वो करो. But you don't have to do it. So that is the beauty of spaces that we have to aim for rather than the styling.
So I'll just add to a story. Like years ago, we had a client and she came to us and she said that, look, I want to do a house. It has to be my home and it shouldn't be your sample flat. I mean, I was shocked when she said that to me. And she said, I don't want you to style it and do such a kind of design कि मैं बैठूँ भी तो, I have to think मेरे हाथ गंदे हैं क्या. When kids run or jump on the sofa and, probably break an artifact and then I scream, oh my God, 20,000 pot is gone. So she said, I want to live it freely. I just don't want that baggage on my head that you all have styled it so beautifully, which 100% is going to look amazing till the photo shoot or till my Vastu Shanti, but later I don't want to, even get behind maids and, sit behind them कि ये अच्छे से, ये 5 lakh का है, ये 10 lakh का है. I don't want that kind of living. So, I mean, again, it depends from person to person that...
From, I think, project to project, where let the space also decide whether... Yes.
I think publication company has made it compulsory. If certain people of styling people, if they are working on the project, it's better chance to get it published. I think, and that is creating, giving wrong message to the society because people are thinking that this is the right way of doing it.
Asta Gopika, are you listening? No, but it's a valid point. Even I agree. And in fact, Prachi mentioned this, that if you have to get your project featured, it has to be styled in a particular way.
It's just under pressure, I think, all of
But
us are doing this.
pehle murgi hai, pehle
Add-on
anda.
job that we've taken it for ourselves, I would say.
All right. With the constant advancement in technologies and arrival of new materials, how do you stay updated with the new advancements and its execution?
I am not going to say through social media. Okay. Okay. So honestly, I think with all of us being so into our practices all the time, it's very difficult to constantly search through the net or through magazines and things like that about what is coming out new. But I think for me, what has worked personally very well is attending a lot of design fairs. It's personally worked very, very well for me. I pretty much go to every single design fair that happens in the country. And if I can, then even internationally, I want to see what is available today. I want to see what is it that they are doing that we can't do, or how is it that we should elevate our work. And that ability, every designer should have to be able to see other people's work, to be able to, not judge it, but to just to understand, where the world is today and, where you stand and how you can get better. So to treat it more like a healthy competition, and I think that's very important. So that's worked very well for me. Other than that, I have 2 interns who have just come from a university, which I don't want to name, but they keep showing me that not everything happens on AI. And they just typed a few words and a whole design came, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? In 2 minutes. I mean, I was aghast because they had no idea of proportion, they had no idea of scale, they had no idea of material, texture, anything, and they just generated an AI image and gave it to me and said this is what was designed. And I just want to take this stage today and say that I'm really wishing this dies soon. And unfortunately, it's the universities that are promoting it. I know maybe I'm in denial that it's happening for real, and people are using it probably, but it needs to be used like a drug in the right proportion, and to do the right things, not to submit your.
I think, in fact, yesterday's panel, they were discussing the same thing. And the panel very rightly said that you have to devise a way in which you will use AI to your benefit, rather than AI controlling how you perform.
Yeah.
So I think that is the future.
And the amazing thing is, AI actually reads you
Yes.
to actually generate the answer. So it is actually doing a study on everybody who's using this AI to generate its answer, and therefore what you search is also important. I also feel in our office, like we also want to even control who uses AI. Is it a beginner level? Are you allowed to use that? Absolutely not. You better take your pencil and paper and sit right here and do it. Or is it somebody who understands now a little bit of scale, proportion, design, and can use it to its potential, use AI to its potential? Not AI using these guys, you know, to...
It's just like Nishita observing the client and using it for his own design.
Yeah.
The way we interact with homes is changing rapidly. Smart homes are one of the advancement of technology that has come a long way in transforming the way we live. What is your perception on smart homes? How have smart homes changed the lifestyle and ambitions of people?
Sorry to say, but I believe smart homes are making people dumb. Only homes are getting smarter, people are getting dumb. So, I mean, why before entering the house you want Alexa to switch on your air conditioners? I mean, why? Let your body feel that it is really hot and now I want the air conditioner to be switched off. Why curtains have to just go off? It's 4 p.m. and it's west and you know, I mean, let your body sense something. Let your brain tell you something that it is hot, it is cold. We are going to lose our sensitivity. There will be a day when Alexa will tell that eat. It is your time for food. I mean, I remember when my kid was a baby, I went to the doctor and I said, ये तो कुछ खाती नहीं है. You know, typical like Indian moms. I was behind her, kha. Before her first meal got over, I started feeding her for the second. Or I started thinking that what am I going to feed her next? Doctor said, let her tell कि भूख लगी है. So it is literally, it is that time, you know, when your body needs to speak to you and not a machine who would, you know, govern our brain. So smart homes, I mean, I'm like, you know, a little no about it. And plus, me being into fitness, I would say walk those 10 steps, switch on the light, switch off the light, keep your devices away. I'm like those old school, you know, designers. So... Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry if anybody from automation is here, but
A lot of...
You're saying that Alexa comes and tells you कि खाने का time है.
So lot of time, clients, now the trend has come for automation. So everyone is into that, oh, what is this? We want to have it. And especially when we talk about luxury homes, where the client has real big budget, how can they miss out on automation? So that is the coming new that they want and they don't want to miss out. I've seen families where we have given all sorts of retro automation, wired automation, dial systems. After a year, they do not use it. They call us, they say, please electrician ko bhej do, normal switch de do, we want to use, we want to go for that. So this is happening, but then in such a dilemma, should we go for it, should we not go for it? Ghar ek baar banega, I'm not going to do it for next 15-20 years. And if that's the requirement, what would I do in coming future? So it's more about deciding, same like ACs were not there 5-7 years back. It was always there for one of your bedrooms. Now it's compulsion. It's your need. It goes from kitchen to your bedrooms to your wardrobes to your living, everywhere. So I think that's the same with automation.
I totally feel you. Like, I understand, like, you know, your body has to speak and all of that. The only reason maybe, like, I enjoy doing that is that it just removes those ugly switches and switchboards away from everywhere. That's it. And I feel maybe it's about time, like, switch companies do something about those panels. That's it. Just make it look smarter.
Home is where we find comfort at most. Smart homes and home automations have made life simpler and achieve comfort for some people at a different level. How, as interior designers, can we ensure that smart home systems are seamlessly integrated into the overall design. If we want, we can skip this because I think most of them here are in denial of smart homes and automation.
And basically, this question, so even if a client wants it, I think then we just, because Indians live in joint family, we need to understand the age.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
They have
for
to be more
seniors,
user-friendly for all different age
certainly,
groups.
for seniors, it really gets difficult. And even for diverters and all in the bathrooms, they say कि simple दो नल नहीं मिल सकते क्या? Because that generation living with us, so we have to take care that it suits everybody's comfort. Certainly, the next generation is up for it and they want everything on your fingertips. But I think we need to understand that who is living in the family and then go for it.
Also, I'll add up. Every single day, I think there are some new automation companies coming up and pitching us. Ma'am, we've come up with this brand. Ma'am, we've come up with this brand. So I cannot make a decision which is really genuine. Which brand should I go for? They are all new. We don't know about it. We don't know the finer details about it. So I think this study is very much important to have a smooth automation, which is really very easy. Alexa, we all say, Alexa, switch on AC, switch off AC. After a point, she does not take your comments and she starts talking something else. So it really has to be compatible with what we are looking for.
Doing a project in the same city is one thing, as you know, the current scenario in your city, and you have a team of local agencies as well. But what challenges do you face when you take up an intercity project, and how do you overcome them? For example, different culture of people, how do you find the agencies, etc.?
I think this is a problem I think we all face every time a new project comes up. I mean, just a very direct answer for this, to be honest. Every time a client comes to us, this is this, and they'll ask us, do you have your own set of team or do you want ours? And we always say that we prefer having our team, do the project only because they understand our detailing and our language. And sometimes it may not work because, for example, we were trying to pitch for a project in the Himachal, and it's very difficult. The logistics don't work of taking, Bombay contractors all the way till there. The costs that are incurred, they don't work for any client. So we have to hire local labor. Also, I understand why a local labor would get angry if an outside agency comes, and there is this kind of hooliganism everywhere. Like, you go to Alibag and you get labor from outside, they will make sure they vandalize your property. You go to Karjat and you get some outside labor, they'll make sure. But the problem with them is that they're not they're not aware of other better methods of construction. They're very used to a typical system. So what we instead do is we always tell the client, let's get local labor. Let them do a few easier tasks, and let my guy come and supervise their work. So I think that format has worked very well, wherever we work, because, you have somebody with very good awareness and supervision skills to manage them, and then the local labor is still happy that they are getting to do certain work. When it comes to specialized work, we prefer taking our team, and that I think even the clients are very well aware about that.
Yeah. And I think at least for homes, we should, prefer local people, because there is this also that, later if there is any kind of issue in the house, like for plumbing or electrical or whatever, at least they can just call up the local guy and he can, be there on site. Yeah, absolutely. So at least for the larger part, I think even we would always suggest a client. Plus, into that, where probably every person is building his second or third home. So actors is not a big issue, or finding a good carpenter and this, and like she mentioned, that is how local people, it certainly is going to help, and that is how we are going to see that kind of development. Even those guys are going to learn something new from us.
Yeah.
So why not
what we say no to, however, to a client is agencies and teams is a very Western India thing. It's not. Even if you go to Delhi and you go to Bangalore, there aren't master contractors who have all the agencies under them and would be a one-point contract for the project. So what we try to say no to is to a client is when they start assembling a team, you know, saying that I have one carpenter, बहुत साल से काम कर रहा है, बहुत अच्छा है, वो करेगा काम, and then there'll be some other kadiya and there'll be somebody else like that. We try to like avoid because you know that becomes a full khichdi then. Yeah. You know, so too much coordination.
So working with a different set of people in different situations in different cities is very interesting. So currently, if I have to, I was just, while the girls were talking, I was just thinking of how many cities. So currently we are working in more than 10 cities across India. And the challenge is that you have to be very strong with your systems in the office. Your drawings have to be spick and span, your specifications, your materiality, everything has to be to the T, and the detailing has to be worked out so well that any Tom, Dick and Harry can read your drawings and then execute accordingly. Then it is later part is only how you supervise it. That is one aspect of it. Second aspect of it is stop being perfect and expecting perfection in everything. See, you may not find a similar kind of finish, say probably somewhere in Madhya Pradesh, as you may probably get in Pune or Mumbai. But that's okay. You have to look at the larger picture that at least if 95% of what you have dreamt of has been achieved, I think it's a win-win situation. The problem with us architects and designers is mostly is our want for everything to be perfect. And that is how life cannot be.
One other great way is also, I think, for all the younger ones who are out there, that build a great network of just other designers and architects working in different cities, so that you know you can exchange information with each other, which is really important. He knows how much I have pestered him for a project in Pune. Even when I wanted a painter and I wanted like a contractor, like, you know, like he's a go-to person. And likewise, like for other cities, like it works really well because at least there is some, you know, reference, you know, of the contractor who's coming on board. And it's really important that there is a good contractor in a project because it can make or break the entire project. So I think networking is absolutely key.
With your design firms being renowned today, do you plan on expanding your design practice by establishing firms in different cities of India to reach out to different clients? Please elaborate on the same.
Sadly or no, social media does that for us. So I think, I don't think, you know, you need to be there physically in every single place, because if you, it also depends what you see your brand becoming. I mean, you want to become this large, like kind of design churning machine, like, you know, you're all over the place and just churning design after design, cookie cutter stuff happening, that's great.
Something like live space, I would say, or something where it's more of a business model and not a design-oriented
model. Not a
design-oriented
space, yeah. But I mean, I like to be personally involved in every single project, and I can only be in one place, and therefore, I mean, we are living in a great time right now where our work can reach every single place and every single city. So, and you don't need to be there physically.
Yeah.
For example, this could have been a Zoom call.
After COVID, I think it was time for introspection also. So we started thinking about what should be the way ahead for us. And currently, today we are all in that situation. Going in terms of quantum, not a challenge at all. There is much of work happening everywhere across the country that I don't think there is any reason why a person cannot grow in terms of quantum. So once we understand this scenario, then is the question where do you really want to do it? So post-COVID, we were asking these questions to ourselves, and I think we realized that अपना दिमाग छोटा है, अपनी पहुंच छोटी है. So why not just play at your strengths? So we have decided that our team is never going to be more than 25. So when we were thinking of our studio and the space that we were designing, we said 25 is the maximum capacity that we would like to go to. And that is the benchmark that we've set to ourselves, and that is the boundary also that we've defined for ourselves. So when we say this, it is for sure that we are not going to expand beyond the city that we are practicing currently. Secondly, like Nishita said, today is the world of social media and internet and so many comfortable the comfortable situations where one can be in with Zoom calls and with others kind of video conferencing. We can definitely go to any other place and do our stuff. So I don't think we have to grow, especially at Studio Infinity. We want to grow in terms of having multiple offices in multiple locations. We are happy doing what we are doing from the place where we are. But that doesn't stop us from taking work anywhere.
No, and also I feel that in our profession, it is that human connect, person to person, you and your colleagues, you and the client, you and your agencies. So that is also what we like about our profession. We always call Studio Infinity as our second home. So it is our home because it is still a small family of 25. The minute we grow to, 500 or 1,000, probably I won't even know that who is working with us. So I think we wouldn't like to lose that human connect that we have today.
As designers, how can one overcome the challenge of creating the modern luxury interiors within the limited availability of space or compact spaces?
I think I've been working on a lot of such projects. So it's not always about spaces. You can have 1,000 square feet and a 3 BHK. You can have 3,000 square feet and a 3 BHK. So it should not define the comfort or luxury of the space. The availability that we have has to fulfill the needs of your clients. So I've seen families who come from a very middle class family and they buy a 3 BHK of 1,000, 1,200 square feet and they have major requirements. They have family of 4, 6, 8 people staying together. They need lots and lots of storages. They need clean spaces. They need it to still look bigger. So I think that is where the art of designer comes in picture. How you can make it fully functional, fully user-friendly, and how much more value you can add up to that space. I think designing a 3,000 square feet, 3 BHK or 4 BHK, not a big deal. You have ample space, you can put ample wardrobes, or in fact, they do not need much of storage spaces. So the concept of minimalism really works well. The concept of throwing your old stuff really comes very well in those scenarios. The family members are 3 or 4. So wise utilization of space with the requirement is extremely important. That plays a very important role here.
So I'm from Bombay, where like a good size project, I get excited if I get like a 1,200 square feet home and a 1,500 square feet home, and I'll be like, wow, that's amazing. Like, that's a good size home for Bombay. And I also strongly believe that I think Bombay designers the way they can utilize space in that 900 square feet home also, like a lot of people who are used to just the 30, 40,000 square feet homes just cannot do it, okay? But we always begin with we've picked up a lot of projects actually in our entire career, which other designers have said, no, it's too small for me to do. It's, 900 square feet is not possible to do, and we can't do this project. And I always take it, as a hit on the architect or the designer. And every time we get a project like this, we start off with telling the client that, you're hiring an architect. We're actually space planners before we are, interior designers or like stylists. And I will make sure that your 900 square feet room looks bigger than what it actually looks like in this two-dimensional plan. And I think we've been able to achieve that because of this. We always tell our clients layout will take the most time to do, and then it's an easy journey from there. Tushar, you agree with me?
Absolutely. I'll tell you a small story. Nishita was mentioning about Mumbai being known for, or the Mumbai designers being known for the way they utilize their spaces. 2008 or 9, I think we were doing a project in Mumbai. So a small apartment, 2 BHK, around 900 square. So we did the kitchen. There was a balcony which we enclosed and did some utility areas there. Then the client said, "Oh, duct nahi use kiya aapne?" And I was shocked to know that later on he had put his washing machine inside the duct. So anything can happen in Mumbai.
No, Bombay people do that. They don't know what it is to take a duct inside.
So that was my last project in Mumbai. But yeah, I think that is where architects and designers can play a crucial role in maximizing the way a space performs. And why not? We should look at these aspects. So for me, I think luxury would be designing a nice small apartment and putting in a Nishita Kamdar swing over there. And then that speaks about luxury, isn't it?
With the increasing involvement of corporations like Vinciago by LiveSpace, what impact would it make on the future of the interior design fraternity?
I think this is a very different aspect for people who want custom, people who want it to have their own personalized touch would be definitely going with proper set of interior and architect. But there are a set of people who have no time, who have constraint on budgets, and they don't want to execute the project. They would definitely opt for live space where the upcoming societies have a lot of norms. The laborers cannot stay in there. They have time limits. You have to keep your project off from 2 to 4. They have to leave the premises by 7 o'clock. So in that case, it becomes very challenging to control on your budgets because double shift charges and also shifting the material on the high rise buildings is extremely difficult. So this is a growing demand, but everything has its own exclusivity. So it can't be judged live space or individual designers.
Also, I think we are space makers. So we are not just somebody who would buy furniture and keep it and bas project khatam ho gaya. So we do much beyond that. So somebody who is going to live space, okay, he wanted that kind of approach to his house, a quick house, budget, maybe budget constraints. He might be feeling that why should I pay a designer 10 lakhs mein to mera ghar aur bhi behtar ho jayega. So why not? I mean, yeah, sometimes we get random calls that can you design my house and my budget is just 20 lakhs. I rather myself refer them to Urban Ladder and Pepper Fry and Live Space who are going to do, what is IKEA doing since years in our country? So, I mean, what's the harm in a country of billions? I mean, everybody wants a beautiful home, and I think we are still going to get our.
Fair enough. Everyone aspires to, get their home designed, and maybe an architect or an interior designer is not in their budget. So why not? I think these platforms should be encouraged. In fact,
Right.
I mean,
so in our initial period of work, we sometimes even got clients who said, "मेरी wife को design में बहुत interest है." Please do it. Yeah, absolutely. What is the harm? So yeah, please go to places like this and pick your own stuff and make your own house. I mean, there is no big joy than doing up your own home. So go. Yeah, but then don't. Absolutely. And I said, why do you want to waste your money by paying me and then not, I'm not applying my brain as is. So, yeah.
Also, with this, modular has really become a backend for designers. So maybe 5 years back, modular was something quality to अच्छा रहेगा, MDF तो use नहीं होता है, ये टिकेगा क्या? Everyone thinks modular is IKEA furniture. So, but now things have really changed. It's all because of the need, the time constraint that we are talking about, the quality, the finishes they are looking out for. So yeah, this is one more segment with designer and comfort to your clients, and designer is really growing up well, and in a good way, I would say it's coming up. So it's just not live space or designer or modular, it's a combination.
Sure, I agree. Each era of architecture and interior have their own luxury style which have changed over the period of time. How it is different from each other and what is the future of luxury design in your perspective?
I think with homes getting smaller, aspirations are becoming bigger. Okay, everyone wants the same things that are fit into like a 10,000 square feet home fit into a 1,000 square feet, and why not? I mean, of course. I do feel the idea of luxury will fully change, and I think for this generation it is changing, which is amazing because, at the smallest level, when this generation is talking about spending money on travels rather than just and experiencing things and going for these beautiful experiences, going for like probably a tasting menu somewhere or like a farm to table experience or like doing like just the outdoors and enjoying nature. I feel the idea of luxury and perception is changing now, which is great, like for this generation. Also, like, for years, people believed in India, we come from this kind of school of thought, ke ghar lena hai. I feel that is fully changing, and maybe that is a little bit of a threat to designers because maybe our jobs will be on the line for that because will the younger generation that is not so much into buying homes, they're more into renting homes, will they hire interior designers now like to do up their homes? So I feel more than whether luxury is going to exist or not exist, will our jobs exist after this? But certain idea is changing, which is
So few years back, going to JW Marriott was luxury, going to Ritz-Carlton was luxury. But now I can see people shifting to boho cafes, where it's more of plants, it's Kota flooring, maybe micro topping on the walls. It's more raw, more rustic, and they just love this concept, this entire concept. And now from cafes, they want their homes to be boho. So major of my clients have started asking me, we don't, from 9 to 5, 9 to 7, 9 to 9, we are working, we are out. It's very commercial, professional, it's glamorous. So our home has to feel like home. So the Indian culture that we are constantly talking about, things that we had in our past history, 50 years back, we had mosaic flooring. Now with their own will, they want to have it with choice in their home. Micro topping, when people had no budget, they used to do sanla of cement. Kyunki paisa nahi tha, we cannot put up tiles was the scenario a few years back. Today, it's changed. People charge double, triple the amount for doing micro topping and get it done for their premises. So luxury has no barriers, no boundaries. It's about what comforts them, what gets them root to the nature, and this relate more, much higher, and with consciousness they are doing it.
Yeah, so for us also, future of design or future of luxury is certainly going to be going back to the roots, seeing our past to get the answers that we want in our future. So probably our generation has seen too much of everything. This, minimalism thing has come up, that we want to have less. And I think COVID really has taught us this. I feel digitalization has spoiled us to a great extent. We need to be more sustainable. Thoughts have to be sustainable to believe and to follow that. These days are, this finger works the most. So more than our steps, 10,000 steps, I think this finger works like 50,000 steps a day. So even like shopping and all, because everything is just on finger touch, most of the time it is like our wants get onto our head than, our needs are. So I feel being minimalistic, being close to the ground, going back to our roots is certainly the way we should look at our future.
All right, coming to the last question. How do you perceive the future of Indian design in relation to the current living standards?
I think the future is us. The future is India now, and we have to be very proud of this fact that we are here and we are here to stay, and we are going to now show the world how things are to be done. With this, a lot of responsibility now lies on our shoulders. Everybody who is here present today and everybody who probably would be listening, that we have to behave responsibly now. We have to understand the true we are doing, whether it is defining luxury or whether it is looking at pure spatial attributes. Whatever we do has now is going to hold a lot of responsibility. And I think that is the way we are going to change. And we better step up our game now.
I think you said very well. It's a kind of responsibility. You just, now the era is gone where you were just copying and, getting things done. So that's just a small line I can add to him. I agree with what he said.
So see how things are changing in India.
Now we want a
I
coffee.
started by agreeing with them and they are ending by agreeing with me.
See?
देश बदल रहा है. But Mitul, the kind of questions that you asked, इतने तो मैंने 10th में भी नहीं आंसर किए थे.
And I'm sure he's missed out few for us.
Thank you for this really interesting, fun, lively session. We kind of heard a lot of different perspectives on luxury, Indian luxury. So we'll have a short Q&A session with the audience. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. You can raise your hands if you have any questions.
Good evening all, my name is Tarun. So as you said, we are going back what we had earlier, like quotas are in tan and the motifs are on the quota, and on the wall also we are, apart from other materials, we are going on stone. So what is your perspective on that? Material choice, I mean.
See, again, I don't think that we should follow trends. So I know that exposed brickwork, quota and natural finishes are in vogue these days. But just like fashion, they are going to pass by one day. And then tomorrow you'll have something else. So I think our search has to be about whether it is necessary or not necessary. Whether the space demands it or doesn't demand it. Whether it is going to affect the lifestyle of the user or it is not going to. So if we try and ask these questions to ourselves, it is going to define what we want to use. And why we have to look at it from that perspective that using marble is not good. Why? It's ultimately that's a natural stone. In fact, all our traditional temples are made out of marble. So why not? So the question is not whether this material or that material. The question is what is needed by the space. And if that question is asked, I think it will resolve the question.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Hello, my name is Sohani. There is more dominating question that I think I should not ask, but like I entered this premises and every single corner has a plant. I entered a cafe, every corner has a plant. I enter my home, every single corner has a plant. Why plants are so dominating in interiors and everything? Why plants are so dominating? Is there a mentality behind it or it is what it is?
A large part of this building is designed around the plants. So the plants were there, the building is then made into it. But no, not just that, but I think everyone looks, it's just everyone needs a pause when I'm talking about, okay, let's go to an apartment level, where you're on the 36th floor or the 40th floor and you're so away from the ground itself, like, it's the best way for you to feel more closer and connected. It is probably the only way you can. If I'm talking at an apartment level, when you come to a more architectural level or a building level or a bungalow level, I mean, it's again the most, in nature is where you feel the most natural. So I think, that is probably the reason why one kind of goes back again to nature. And that is what existed and the building is something that is added on to it. So, you can't take that away from the earth.
No. I was talking about like, is there a corner not working? We don't know what to do. There is a plant. Always working.
So, I mean, maybe the plant just works right for every corner. But for our houses, the way we grow with our houses, we build memories, the plant also grows with us. And why plant? We also like to have pets with us. So why a pet? Because it's another life that we have in our house. similar is a plant. An artifact is never going to change, but a plant will keep growing. And that is what you are going to observe. Tomorrow that plant is going to have a flower. It is going to grow tall. I mean, that's the beauty of nature, that you are getting to your homes.
Were you present some time ago when the keynote address was happening in the hall? So you missed out a very intellectual thing that was spoken over there by Shidaji, and they were talking about Snail and Bhadri's home that they have designed, and then he was also discussing about how plants play such a crucial role in whatever we are today. They are like, see, it's a very simple thing, right? A banyan tree will last for 150 years at least. How many years do you feel you and I would last? So they see generations at a stretch. So they are there. And you asked a very tricky question. Does a plant fulfill a corner? It does. Apna kharab kaam koi to chupayega. And who better than a plant?
Takes it all.
I think there was an architect who said that he'd grow vines on his mistakes. I think, was it Corbusier? I think there's somebody who said that plants or vines are the best way to cover up my mistakes.
They're the most beautiful things that one could have. So yeah, they just do the patch-up job.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. This comes to an end of our final panel discussion, and it ended really well in a good way.